Hello, I'm Victoria Donovan, and my personal story today is going to be all about getting blamed for something that I did not do, but I got blamed for it anyway. And so the theme for my story is all about being honest, telling the truth, and owning up to your mistakes. So my story starts out with me and my sister. This story took place about 20 years ago. So we were 6 and 9. I am the younger sister, so at the time I was 6 years old. And at this time, me and my sister were basically complete opposites. I was quiet, reserved. I did what my parents asked me to do. I followed the rules, whereas my sister was kind of at the other end of that spectrum. She rebelled, was rowdy, loud, and liked to not follow my parents' directions. So one night, my parents were having like a game night with their friends, and they had us go to bed. It was our bedtime, and they just told us, stay in bed, do not go to each other's rooms, stay there. For whatever reason, they did not want us to be getting, up and down and going to each other's rooms. At the house that we were living in at the time, me and my sister's rooms were like right across from each other. So we could open our doors and we had about 5 feet, to the next person's door. What was the tricky part was when I opened my doorway and room was visible, like to the living room. So I really could not open my door without the adults seeing me if they were in the living room. Whereas my sister's door, there was a wall that she could like kind of hide behind, and no one in the living room, kitchen could see her. So she could just open her door and be sitting there and have like no worries. So, we're in bed, I'm trying to go to sleep, and I all of a sudden just like hear kind of like taps on my door and like, Vic, like, wake up. And so, being the curious little sister, and I knew it was my older sister, I like went to the door and I like kind of like popped it open a little bit, and my sister's like, sitting back at her door, no one can see her, and my sister's like coaxing me over, like, Vic, come on, like, let's have like a summer party, like, come on. And so me being the younger sister that wants to like please and do what my older sister is saying, and I'm finally having my older sister like want to hang out with me. I like, look around the corner, I don't see any of the adults, and I like dart to my sister's room. So we're in my sister's room for a little bit, we're like giggling, laughing, like, oh my gosh, like mom and dad aren't gonna find out. It was like a big deal, just sneaking over to each other's rooms, when all of a sudden my sister at the top of her lungs just begins to scream for my mom, like, mom, and she's like yelling like, mom, come here, Vic's in my room. And I immediately like shut down and I just began to panic. It was not true that I like, came over on my own free will. She had coaxed me over and like made me come into her room. But when my mom came into my sister's room, my sister just is really good at lying. And so she was able to trick my mom into thinking that I really did come over and like invade her space and like not follow the directions of our parents. And I got blamed for coming to my sister's room and waking her up and going against the rules. And there was nothing that I could do to not get blamed for it. Nobody believed me. So yeah, that was the time that I got blamed for something, and I just was escorted back to my room and went to bed. But yeah, my sister blamed me for coming in the room when I wasn't supposed to. And it wasn't until like, a few years later that my sister, we were kind of like, teenagers, adults, and my sister finally fessed up to my mom that like she coaxed me in and it wasn't my fault. But it is like funny to look back on, and as like the younger sibling, like I want my sister to like me and think I'm cool. So I just like went with the flow and I got blamed for something I didn't do. But the truth, I mean, did finally come out, and it is a funny story to look back on, but that is the time that I got blamed for something I completely did not do.